Good as Gold is an educational program featuring Sean Flarida and Craig Schmersall and is being brought to you by several valued sponsors. Realizing joint care is of the utmost importance, Good as Gold uses and recommends Grand Flex from Grand Meadows Nutritional Products. Sean Flarida feeds Tiz-Wiz feeds because serious horse owners take a professional approach to what they feed. Pard's Western Shop is offering the products that champions choose, including the Sean Flarida collection featuring Lucchese boots. And Natural Glow, fed by Craig Schmersall to help ensure his horses are always in top performance condition. We wish to thank our sponsors, and we welcome you to Good as Gold.
Little step ridden by Sean Flarida. Commanders Nick ridden by Craig Schmersall. 2:29 and 1/2. 2:33.
Welcome to the third video in the Good as Gold Reining series. In this video, Sean and Craig show you what they expect their horses to accomplish during their 3-year-old year on their way to the futurities. From stopping, spinning, and circling to practical advice on how to keep your horse progressing in the right direction, the video is loaded with information that will help make you good as gold.
Okay, I'm going to start back with my circling program, my everyday program for my 3-year-olds. When I bring them out, this is how I'll circle them, work on my steer, counter canter, and lead change. Probably, I'm going to touch on everything all at once. So after I've had her warmed up and I got her jogged around here, I'm going to go ahead and ask for that lead departure. She lopes off in the bridle, she's soft. I've checked all that today already. I like when I lift my hand, they give. I know somebody's home. And I mean, this mare is really, really good in the face. They're not all like this, but this is what I strive. This is what I try to get on every horse. One that's really soft. I'm gonna go ahead and move her up a little bit. There's 2 ways I'll steer these horses around, and I'll do a lot, you know, with 2 hands. Steer in there, take that nose, build her up across here, steer in there, take that nose, bump it over there. We've touched on this a little bit already. I'm just gonna review it a little bit. So when I go to 1 hand straight up in the bridle, steer her across, especially right here in the center. Counter canter around here. Push that hip around. I'll work on my steer and my counter canter all at once. Push my hip around there. Notice my front end doesn't go too far. It stays in one spot. I don't let her steer that. Push that hip around there like a rudder. Don't let that Don't let that shoulder fall over here to the left. Pick my hand up, keep that shoulder from going to the left. You have to have one pretty broke in the counter canter and in the body to be able to counter canter this square. If you watch this mare change, she's probably going to change with her. She should change with that hind leg first. I'm going to do it right over here on the straight. Push that leg over there. I might just counter canter her off the other way. I want that hip to get right up underneath her when I push that leg in there. Straight to you, push that hip over, pull those shoulders to the left. This is how I teach mine to change, and I hope and pray when I'm done that when I change, they're changing that. There, she missed a little bit. I'm just gonna roll her back and go again. I want that hind change to, the hind lead to change first. That's all right, just like that. Drive her up in that bridle. I'm gonna change that hind lead again. Push that hip around there if I didn't get that hind lead first. Watch my legs. You notice I won't kick this mare. I asked for that lead change. It doesn't happen. I'm not going to panic. Just kind of wait. If I need to do anything, I'll take her back in 2 hands.
I'd like to go over my rollback a little bit. I did it earlier on the aged horses, but my rollback is similar to Craig's. I do mine at a walk. I think it's just a little easier for them to understand. I'm going to take and back this horse up into the rollback. One reason I back him is to simulate where them hind legs are. I think one of the most important things on a rollback is A, timing, because when this horse gets done stopping, his hind legs are way up here to his shoulders. His back's broke completely in two. And it takes him a second or two to pick his back and pick his hind legs back up underneath him and then roll back. A rollback states in the handbook, he should go 180 degrees and go right back over his tracks. That don't mean I want him to step up over here and lope off. I don't want that. He's got to come all the way back over his body and lope off, okay? I don't want him to burst out of there either. I just want him to lope. I don't want him to see a great big burst of speed. I just want him to lope off. I've never done this to this colt, so it might take me a few minutes to get it, but I'll back him up. I'm gonna take this leg, put it against his rib cage, hold him with my hands a little bit, make him spin 180 degrees around, and walk out. I'll do this a lot at a walk. So what that's gonna do then when you lope him, you can put your legs on him, he'll instantly automatically think about going 100 or 360 degrees. And in a show, anytime you show a reining horse, you're gonna lose about 20 or 30% of your efficiency. So at home, if you're only rolling back to this point right here and loping off, say we lose 20% of that, that puts us to this point. We're far from being where we can go back over our tracks. So my thought is make him do 100 and 110%, and maybe that'll help us. I'll just show you this a little bit. This also makes him really soft with my legs. It'll make him step right around himself. Also, you see it where it's straightening that shoulder back up for Craig a little bit. I don't like to see a horse roll back and leave his front end. I think anytime a reining horse gets off his front end and lifts his body up off the ground, I'm not real fond of that. I think the more he stays on the ground with his legs, the quicker he is and the prettier it is. It's almost like a basketball player. If you drive in on him and he jumps up to try to block your shot and he's off his feet, you'll drive around him every time. So I like to see him stay right on the ground. I'll back him up, apply my leg, make him go all the way around 180, 360 degrees. Then I'll do it at a trot. Trot him up here. Whoa, I'll stop, I'll back up. I'm gonna take my right leg against his rib cage, 160 degrees, lope off. Okay, if I want him to lope out there nice and quiet, I'm gonna lope up here. I'm gonna stop him. I'm gonna back him up. I'm gonna go hold 360 degrees again. So before long, he's not going to jump out of there unless I drive him out of there. Cool. Back him up. Make him come all the way through there. Lope out. Notice he should lope out. Should be nice and soft. I'm going to do it 2 more times. And then I'm going to roll him back like I would in a show pen. Leg. 360 degrees. A little bit extra there. We'll do it 1 more time up here. Notice you can do this all day long and he's not going to get upset. Back him up. I'm going to go to the right this time, which will be my left leg. I made him go 1.5. This time I'm going to go down here. I'm going to let him roll back. I'm going to try to come right towards you. Cool. I loped right up. He even went just a little extra. I'm going to come right towards the camera. I'll do it again. But he should go right back over his tracks. There shouldn't be no U-turn in there. This is a really nice horse. He's really tolerant of what I've tried to teach him because I don't think he's ever had this done to him before. Whoa. Very, very, very pretty. I'll come back towards you 1 more time. Whoa. Notice he stays right there. But I'll practice that at a walk and a trot. The more you do it like that and the more he comes through there and it's very fluent, the prettier it'll be. But the reason I do it 360 degrees or a little bit extra, remember when you show a horse, any horse, whether it's aged or a young horse, you're going to lose about 20 to 30% of your efficiency. So this rollback's a perfect idea. If he's rolling back only this far at home, and you lose 20% of it, it's going to put you right there, and you're going to lope out and you're going to make a U-turn. So always keep that in mind. Don't be scared. If he chomps you or something, make him go all the way through there. It'll make it look a little bit nicer. That's about all I really got to say on the spin on this horse. It'd be nice if I could go a little bit further and show you some speed on him. But this horse isn't really ready for speed. He needs to get all that a little bit more functioning, a little bit more stable and soft. He's going to have plenty of speed. You just got to get it solid first, particularly to the right. He's a really, really nice horse, so just be patient. The other thing I'd like to say on them 3-year-olds, I don't think it's a good idea to make them 3-year-olds come out and try their hardest every day. You know, I don't know if Craig feels the same about it. I know we talked earlier, and I think he does, but we might get his opinion here in a minute. Come out and school him and go back to your basics and make him be there and make him do that part. But to come out here every day and make him spend 90 miles an hour, before long he's going to start resenting his job. He's going to start using his tail. He's going to start pinning his ears. He's not going to want to work for you. But if you can come out here and teach this horse and show him ways that he can get better and be part of him, you can make him better. You know, I'm not saying I don't come out here and I treat him with kid gloves or I pet on him all the time. That's not the case. But I am his coach, and I do have to make him understand and help him with his body and make him use it. And then I might take 2 days a week and I might say, all right, big guy, I want to see where you're at. I've tweaked it as much as I can that week, and I want to see where he's going to be, and I'll ask him to go ahead and go hard and go fast. And then I'll back up, evaluate what happened and what he was like, and make the necessary adjustments to make him better.
I think in the beginning, you know, we touch on everything every day. Some days I might work on a turn a little bit harder than a stop or vice versa. But every day we come out and circle and guide. That's every day, no matter what. We circle and guide every day. We play with their face almost every day. Start to teach them to pack that bridle and give to the pressure. You know, almost every day we'll turn one around. I mean, it might not have to be fast or not long, but we're going to make sure they're crossing over good. Every day you're going to lope circles, so I'm going to say whoa to them every day. I might just say whoa like in and out of or in the circle. Might not straighten them up and go down the side and say whoa to them, but I am going to do the maneuvers every day on those colts. how deep I get into those maneuvers, it just depends on the day. But I can tell you, you know, it's, you know, August right now, and I got on a couple of those colts that the boys have been riding since January. A week or two ago, I said, you know what? I said, you ride them 3 days a week, just elope them, let them get soft, steer them around. Don't train on them, but 2 days. You know, let them have, they're far enough along by now. Let them be happy, let them stay sound. You don't have to throw that program down their throat every day. Work on, I have them, I say, you know what, at this point, you work on your stop on Wednesday, or work on your turn on Wednesday, work on your stop on Thursday, and Friday gallop them so you make sure that they're quiet and soft and relaxed, and then let them have the weekend off. And Monday and Tuesday, when you start back, gallop, get them quiet and steering, 2 days work. It's like what we touched on in the 2-year-old video. I want to keep them happy. I don't want them tired of their job before
They get 2 years old.
Yeah, because come January, their 3-year-old year, they have to be fairly fresh, because that's when I get to it. And that's for sure. When I mean, every day and after January 1, I'm gonna ride those 3-year-olds, and I, you know, I don't want them to be mad and fighting and swishing that tail. They're doing the stuff good now. They're happy. Let them be. They're far enough along. My help has done their jobs quite well.
Yeah, my chores, I think one of the most important things is get the resistance out of their chin and their neck. I do that every day before I do anything else. I think it's hard to do any stopping. It's hard to do any turning. At least in my program, it's pretty tough. The resistance has got to be gone out of the horse's chin and his neck, and I work on that on every one of my horses, whether he's 2 years old, 3 years old, or on up. That resistance has got to be gone.
That's a daily maintenance issue from a 2-year-old to finished.
Yeah, that's got to happen. That's got to happen. I think that's first and foremost. And there's days that I don't ever get any further than that. There's days that I might get in not necessarily an argument with a colt, but just getting a little wrestling match. And you gotta get through that. And that horse has got to understand that he's got to submit. He's got to be supple. And he's got to give to me. One of the hardest things on him is if you come out and work a horse for an hour, and then the next day you come out and you want to work him for 5 minutes. I think that don't send a good message to that horse. I think some horses have really good work ethic, and I think some horses have really bad work ethic. But I think as a rider and a trainer and a horseman, I think you can come through there and encourage that horse that he is a blue-collar worker and he needs to have a job and have a career. I personally don't like prima donnas per se. I want my horses to realize he's got a job to do and he needs to go do it.
I think for me, like Sean says, I like to ride those horses 5 days a week if they're good. If I'm behind, I'm riding them 6 days. But they for sure are not going to get rude. No, I won't ride 1-7 because they need a little. Because if you're taxing that body pretty good, if they're behind, they for sure need to have a day off. And sometimes, I don't know how many times I went to a horse show after I've ridden a horse for a good long time. I come back from that horse show a week later, and that horse is so much better when I get home after I just missed 7 days on him than he was when I left. And I think that's very important. Sometimes if I'm having trouble on a horse and I've maybe rode him for 30 solid days or whatever, I'm going to think, if he's not coming along like he should be, I think maybe I should give him a week off. Maybe turn him out for a week and see if he improves after that week, because he's, if he's got a sore spot somewhere, I think he'll at least be better after a week. So I think time off, strategically planned, is a good thing. I don't want to give him a week off every month, but
I'll give one
we
time.
go away to enough horse shows that sometimes they get that.
I'll give time off to a horse as long as, if he's sore, then you need to. I won't give off any time if a horse is not mentally doing good. I definitely don't think if he's training bad, if he's got a problem, I won't give him any breaks. Now if he's sore or something, I'll dang sure back off of him, give him a chance. But, say that he's struggling in a maneuver or something like that, I won't back away from him. I'm not sure there's a biological clock or a clock in that horse's mind to understand if I turn him out for 3 or 4 days, he's not going to learn how to improve his turnaround, something like that. But if he's sore, that is one thing, and I do give him time off for that. And I think you got to use a little common sense there, and try to figure out where's there's a happy medium. If his nostrils get to blowing really hard, you need to probably go underneath and stand underneath a shade tree and give him a chance to get his air. Go rinse his legs off, or get him cooled back down in some manner. There's a fine line there. I mean, you got to ask him to do his job and do it hard, and I think you just got to use some common sense right through there to get through that. I think the other thing you're dealing with too, and I hate to go back to a human athlete all the time, but you're dealing with an animal that's bred and his desire is to be really, really, really good. It's almost like a border collie working some sheep. No matter how hot it is or what that coach does, that dog will go until it completely collapses. I think the horse is the same way, and you got to step in there once in a while and say, hey, you know what, this horse needs a break, and give him a break. What I'd like to go over a little bit is just a little bit more about the spin on some of them 3-year-olds. Some of the things that you run into that you don't always know how to fix. Like, say that you got a horse turning on the wrong hind leg, or say that he wants to walk out of it a lot. I'm going to try to go over some of the things with that, and maybe show you a little bit more on how I speed some of them up. And then I'll go over some of my rollback stuff too. We did it on the aged horse tape, but I sure think I need to show you guys again here on the 3-year-old. Say this horse was spinning to the left. He needs to be spinning on his inside left hind leg. He don't necessarily have to hold it in one spot for me to be happy, but I don't want him moving it out like a foot-by-foot box. I'm gonna go ahead and just turn him around and see what he's like, and then I'll show you what I would do. He's actually really, really, really good. He's got a lot of cadence. He's going around there. He's off the outside rein. Very, very, very comfortable. Let's pretend for a minute that he was turning around and he was moving that butt all over, okay? And he'd spin, he'd move that butt all over. What I would do is I'd drive him up out of there. You notice Craig even said he'd take his horse up out of the spin and get after him a little bit. The reason we go out of that spin and get after him a little bit, we want him to realize that anywhere outside of that spin is a bad place to be. We want him to want to get to that spot. So what we're gonna do is get him up out of there, take him, put him in 2 hands, and I'm gonna make him put this hip over here and stay there. He gets that hip and spot, I'd ask him to turn. He's got way up underneath him. I go 3/4 of the way and I'd move it back out. Craig was doing something very similar to that earlier. Maybe not to this degree, but I'd trot him, move it over, ask him to turn, trot out of there. What that's gonna do is really suck his hip up underneath him. It'll also make him squat in that turnaround just a little bit. And make him frame up a little bit more. So he come out of there and he leaned against my outside leg. I'd rather he come out of there and not lean against that leg. Get after him. Notice I don't punish him in the spin. Getting just a little bit of too much of a hurry. Come out. Still wanting to lean against that leg. So I'll do this until he quits. Notice I'm getting after him, but I'm not getting after him a tremendous amount. Just telling him that I'd prefer that he stay over there. Come out. That was good right there. That's what you do if they're spinning on the wrong hind leg. Reason you drive them out of there, when you drive them out, that's going to force that horse to use his inside hind leg, because he's going to have to slam it down on the ground and go out. And that's what's going to create that horse to maneuver his way back to the inside leg. I'm going to do it this way here also, just a little inside. When this horse turns this direction, he's fairly bent. He's bent a little bit too much for me to the inside. I think when a horse really turns and he's going pretty fast, if I can get straight with the camera here, his chin will be bent, but his neck will be straight. It'll be in about that frame. I ought to be able to see the inside of his eyelashes, the inside of his eye, but his neck should be fairly straight with his withers. I'm going to show you what this horse turns around like normally, and then I'm going to show you what I would do to it to hopefully improve it. See how he kind of ducks that neck over there a little further than I personally would want? Here again, I'd drive him up out of there with 2 hands. I'd move this hip over, make sure he stays off that leg. This will also make a horse get in just a little bit of a hurry. Say he's a little doggy, this will help that. I'm gonna take that outside rein, take that bend out of that neck. Trot him up out of there. Here again, see, he leaned over there against that left leg. I moved him over. Notice when he moved over, where the pressure was not, I let go. I quit jamming on it. Okay, make him stay right up underneath there. Make him want to get in that spin. Make him realize it's not a nice place to be outside of this spin. Let him turn around a little bit. A little bit better, not quite right yet. Stay over there. This horse also too, he has a tendency to lead with his ear. And what I mean by that, the faster this horse goes, he has a tendency to tilt his head that direction, meaning he's leading with that ear. I personally don't care for that. Only way to really fix that is to raise your hand up here and pull this chin up, okay, and hold it. So you're gonna see me do some of that while I'm working on this to show you. Because remember, I just want the chin, not the neck. Also, the trotting also gives them a lot of cadence. Makes them shorten up them steps. There, he picked that old shoulder up. He's still just a little overdone for me, meaning he's behind the vertical. But I want him to come up out of that spin and move his hip up to the inside, right up underneath him. Okay, every time. I'll work on it here just a few minutes to show you. This horse, in my opinion, I do quite a bit of this. You want to turn right there. Notice I keep my left hand kind of low, keep that shoulder up underneath there. Cool. He was good right there at the end. But I wouldn't make this horse go any faster than that at this point until I got that where I wanted it. But that would be the next stage on this colt that I would go to. Craig's got him really, really broke. This colt's kind of a big colt, so he might struggle with learning that just a little bit, but he's dang sure a good mind and he's a good athlete, so it's gonna come. But I just wanted to demonstrate that to show you what I meant right there. And as far as speeding him up, I would do the same thing right there, just to make him be a little bit more disciplined. As soon as he starts coming out of that circle and he steps that hip over underneath him, it'll improve this horse's turnaround immensely.
For my 3-year-olds, as far as turning, I want it to be a very relaxing program for them for, 90% of it. The start is a very simple process. I'll split my reins, keep my hands right in front of my hips, set him here. This mare, I've prepared her for this not at all, so I'm going to just go into this very cold and show you what it may look like the first time. When I want to turn left, I'm just going to move my right rein to that mare's neck, yay far, and I hope I get some kind of response. I'm going to bite her a little bit, not hard, but just say, come on. I just want this mare to sit here and turn. I don't care if I move around, she stops, I'm going to knock her back in there, move around here. I just want her to sit here and have a cadence and just sit here and turn. Whoa, drop my hand when I stop. These horses, they'll teach themselves to have a good shut off a lot of times. There's a few things that we can do to sharpen that turn up, and I think that Sean gets into that on the video, but for the most part, if you're dropping your hands, if they're pretty athletic, they're gonna stop. Put her back in 2 hands. I'm not gonna let her know that I'm in 2 hands. She looks over here, I'm gonna still ask her to turn to the right. I wanna make sure that she brings that nose in there, looks in there, and starts stepping. I've got no pressure with my reins, I've got no pressure with my legs. She stops, now I'm gonna pressure a little bit. Stops, pressure a little bit. We'll bump her in there. She should be well into this turn now. There shouldn't be any kind of confusion right here. She's just a turn. That's her job right now. Whoa. And I will work on this, 10 times each way every day. Outside rein only. She looked in there, she stepped back, drew that inside leg out of the way, she's turning. As long as she's gone somewhere and she's not lagging, if she lags, I'm gonna bump her and bite her nose. Bump her, bite her nose. Now I'm gonna spur her because I didn't get the reaction that I wanted. She kind of laid on my leg there. Oh, let her sit. I do a lot of this from a standstill at this point. I've tried it a lot up until this point. Now I'm gonna make sure, this time of her 3-year-old year that she can start that turnaround. Keep in mind we have trotted into this turn and out of this turn. I mean, we have done this for the last, year and maybe a year and a half. She looked in there, she needs a little help, I'll go to my leg. Oh, I like that. I mean, she's got a nice cadence. She's got some spots in there that need to be ironed out, but for the most part, I'm pretty happy with that turn. Now I'm gonna challenge her just a little bit. I'm gonna cluck. She gets out of position, I'll stop her, trot her out of there. Now I'm gonna kind of harass her just a little bit. Bump her forward into that bridle. Make sure she's soft. Let her alone. I'm not gonna bother her in that turnaround too much. I pushed my feet away, she didn't stop. That's why I backed her up there. I'm gonna go this way. She's backing into that turn. I'm just gonna walk her forward, trot her in there, pack that face a little bit, hold that face. Whoa. I'm gonna ask her again. This time, I'm gonna go to 2 hands, just make sure if I need the help, I got it. I clucked at her. Oh. I just turn her loose and you see how good she stops there by herself. I mean, this is exactly what I do every day, from May on of her 3-year-old year. I've trotted, and if I have to go back to that, I will. I'll go back to my foundation if I have a rough spot. I've had a little sticky spot here to the right. I'm gonna ask her again. Oh. She's thinking turn now, and that's one of those things where I'm not gonna knock her back the other way and hurt her feelings. That her thinking turn is not a bad thing. That's one of those it's a desirable mistake. She'll get over that after she gets used to having this a little bit more pressure than normal. It's not a big deal. You make a big deal out of it, it'll become a big deal, but it's not a big deal, so I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm gonna try my left now. I'm not gonna prepare, watch my hand. I'm just gonna ask her to turn. Oh, drop my hand. Now I'm gonna move around a little bit, make sure that she's relaxed and calm about that. I spend all that time on those 2-year-olds trotting, getting this turn started. As a 3-year-old now, I don't want to have to be doing a whole lot of jogging. If they get a little bit stabby in that turn, I might trot her out of there every time for a couple days, just so they quit trying to stab that turn or that stop in that turn. I want her to be going around there pretty fluent and have a nice cadence. I'm gonna steer right into there. She looked in there. We'll move around here a little bit. This mare, she shouldn't stop unless I say the word. Just gonna get her broke. Make her get used to me flopping around up here. You know, this will help if I go like that and that nose is coming in there, I know for the most part she's gonna roll back to hoe. And I'm gonna touch on that rollback quick here on a 3-year-old. I do it on I'm gonna do it on the older horse tape, but I just think that I'm gonna touch on that. And I like them to back up. I like them to be on using their hindquarters. I'm gonna tip that nose over there. Tip that nose over there. Just keep her coming back. Push this hip out of the way. I want this mare to be off my legs good, and I probably should show you that before I get into this rollback. But this mare, I do a lot of side passing. She knows to get off my leg. Oh. I don't think you can teach a horse to side pass unless you have good control of these hips. She just needs to be soft in this face too in that turn. That means she's got to allow me to take a hold of her and position her where I want. Okay, getting back to that rollback. I'm backing up. I'm gonna roll back left, so I'm positioning everything to the left. That hip's over there to the left, too far for me. Push that hip out of the way. Once that hip gets out of the way, she rolls back over her hocks and lopes off nice and smooth on the correct lead. I just try to keep it that simple. I back, position that nose, make sure I can position that nose, make sure I can push that hip out of the way. If I want to back a circle to the left and roll back right, I can. I got that hip pushed out of the way, lope her out of there. Now I'm going to back her up one-handed. I'm going to test it, see what I got. She got a little bit elevated, but she went. I got a lot of time to smooth that out. Break her down, walk her forward, push my feet off, back her up, steer back over my tracks. She comes out on the correct lead. I like that. Back her up, back up, neck rein. She comes out over those tracks. I'm pretty happy with that. Gonna let her quit right there for a minute. You know, this is the stuff I'll touch on every day. You know, I don't spend a whole lot of time on one maneuver unless it's behind. But every day I come out here and I'm gonna ride this mare, make sure I can circle her, make sure I can turn her, make sure she's steering like she's rolling back, make sure she's steering good, make sure she's changing leads good. And then if she's doing all that, you know, safe and sound, I'm gonna go ahead and show you how I get my start, or what I do on a typical day on a 3-year-old in, you know, June, July, August, September. I'm gonna start with some rectangles, and just to get her used to doing that horseshoe going around the ends, get her relaxed, get me relaxed. Square up your turns on the ends. Make sure you can steer her in there. Keep her loping. Turn her loose, see where she goes. I want to make sure she stays straight. She doesn't lean. you know, I can start my approach anytime. The loop around here one more time. Turn my corner, pick something out. Go ahead, build just a little bit of speed. Check that face, make sure I can hold her into that bridle and still drive. Drop my hand. Oh. Didn't really want to stop there. I'm gonna back her up, pull her around a little bit. I won't say whoa every time, but I will check it at the fence. Take off loping. Let's set it up on this side again. Make sure I can put my hand forward. Make sure she's not trying to leave without me. Ride her up into that bridle. Drop my hand. There she kind of leaned forward. She pushed on my hand just a little bit. Draw her in the ground. Make sure she's off my hand. Start again. I like to check that draw. She gives me, when I pick up my hand, she drops that head and neck and her butt comes up underneath her. She's very well connected. I'm happy with that. I'm going to go ahead and ask her to build down this side. If she runs down there good, I'm going to say whoa to her. Sit back. Oh. Bump those shoulders. She didn't come back to me. She had a nice stop. I'm still going to back her up. Maybe pull her around. She wants to lean on that bridle just a little bit. Erase that resistance. She could have stopped a little bit harder there. So this time I'm going to lope off and I gave her the benefit of the doubt. Now I'm going to take things into my own hands just a little bit here. This time I'm gonna send her on down here. Whoa. Say whoa, and I'm gonna pull on her. Back her up. She pushes on my hand, I'm gonna keep back and steer that hip over there. Back her up. Whoa. I'm gonna try that again. Oh. She dang sure tried there. She ducked in there before I wanted her to though, so I'm gonna fix that. Turn her loose.
On my 3-year-olds, I don't know that I work on every maneuver every day, but they get stopped.
How many days a week do you stop them?
I probably show stop them. I might show stop them maybe twice a week. But if I've got one that, I mean, every time I go down there, he's really, really good and he's really broke. Say that it's September and I go down through there or late August and I run him wide open and he knows exactly and he's telling me he knows exactly what he's doing. I might not stop him for a couple weeks. I might just back off of it and just let him cover. But I say back off of it. I might not run and stop him anymore. But I might lope him around a circle, try to trick him. You know, maybe lift his shoulders up, anything along those manners. I'm going to ask him some questions, but I might not make him max out. like a weightlifter, he'll lift weights all the time, but he's got a pretty good idea how much he can lift at one time, meaning maxing out. So I might not make that colt. I might not max him out maybe for 2 or 3 weeks, but then after 2 or 3 weeks, I might come back and say, all right, show me, prove to me that you can do this. But if he's answering all the questions right, I'll back away from him a little bit, give him the benefit. And same thing with the spin. I don't think you can ask a horse, in my opinion, particularly a 3-year-old, to max out every day, meaning max out stopping, max out spinning.
You're going to run out of legs up by the time the futurity comes around.
I tell you what, we'll go back, and I hate to refer to a professional football team, but a professional football team, I don't know exactly what their schedule is, but I can't imagine them hitting as hard as they do game day and practice every day. I don't think they physically can, and I'm not sure my 3-year-olds physically can either, because they try so hard, and they get tired. And that's just my analogy.
That's when you get your injuries, when they get.
And most injuries will occur, in my mind, at the end of your work session when a horse is fatigued. The heart and the mind of that horse is bred to never quit trying. And I think that body, it gets fatigued, but that horse's mind keeps trying and trying and trying. And I think that's where, as a horseman, you got to step in there and say, you know what, it's 90 degrees today. He's tried hard. His heart's still there, and he's still trying, but he's just fatigued today. Let's back off and try a little bit later today, or go tomorrow. And I think that's where you got to step in as a horseman and say, okay, he's trying. I love a horse who'll try. I don't care if he's got a lot of athletic ability or not. I know he's got to have enough to go run and stop and turn and everything. There's no substitute for heart and try. I've had some of the greatest athletes in the world be the worst horses I've ever had, because they couldn't retain, and they had no try.
My workout during the week, I will not for sure max a 3-year-old. I try to teach it to step properly, and some days if I punch them in the belly, I want to make sure that they're getting off my leg, but I'm not going to test that every single day. I'm going to work on frame, make sure frame and cadence is my biggest concern. If they have that, it's not going to take very long to get one turning fast, to max one out. And besides, I think if you max one out early in the year, I think that one of the biggest problems I see with a lot of the young trainers, or a lot of people, is that they cluck and they're spurring every day and trying to get the biggest turnaround they can get every day. Well, before long, you might as well just kick on that board over there, because it's going to have about the same feel. So those horses get tired and they just learn to block you out, especially in that turn. In a stop, if I have one I run down there, some days I will test. I'll lope my circles, change the lead, I'll come around the end of my arena, run down like I would at a horse show without any kind of warm-up, any kind of preparation. I come around the end, kick him down there and say, whoa, and see what happens. If he drags his butt, I may step right off and not do it again.
Put him away.
Mm-hmm. If that's what it's going to be like, why do I want to work on something that's not broken? You're just going to take it away and maybe risk getting him sore. I will work on a stop. If I have a good stopper, I will stop him once every 10 days, but where I really work on it and max that stop out. And as long as he owns it and he's good, leave him alone. Gets before the futurity time, that'll change a little bit. I'll probably stop him, twice a week, for sure once, and once a week. It gets into October, whatever. I'm gonna start maybe thinking about maxing that turn once a week, that stop once a week, and then the rest of the time just making sure everything's correct and in the right frame and position.
I think it's important that the rider makes sure he asks that horse questions. Like a lot of times, if I'm concerned, if I got a particular maneuver that a horse is concerning me on, say that the horse, I've been working on his fast and slow, and he's not maybe reacting exactly the way I want him, and say that I've been riding him all week and I've been working on it. Maybe on Friday I won't warm him up or prepare him at all. I'll just come out there, step right on his back, providing he's healthy, trot him around, make sure he's sound. Then go ahead and go do your large fast circle and hum to him and see if he comes back. If and if he does it, and
right off the bat,
he's
come out
ready.
here fresh.
He's
Get
ready to go
trot
show.
him around. I do the same thing. I'll
Yeah,
come out
he's
there and
ready to
I'll lope around maybe a circle or 2 circles, and then I'll
Test
lean forward and cluck the large fast circle one, and I get to center. I'm going to sit back and ask him to slow down
and he'd be good.
and test it.
And if he's good right there, he's ready to go show.
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
At least that with that maneuver.
No, that's that's just like running around the end with no preparation and stopping. I like to know, say we get in an accident the morning of the fraternity or whatever, and you don't have time to get everything ready. You sleep in because you've only gotten 2 hours of sleep for the last week.
Perfect example was Brent Wright.
Yeah, Brent Wright had that happen this year. His horse, he had to have that thing broke.
Yeah, he went marked like a
because,
223.
Yeah.
I mean, he was really good.
His horse was ready, and that's the way I want the worst case scenario to be. Say I get 10 minutes of warm up.
Yep.
I want to make sure that horse is ready in 10 minutes. If you have a horse that you're having to take an hour and a half to make sure it's ready to go show,
he probably didn't ready to go to the fraternity.
I mean, you can't afford to ride ones like that.
Or you better just have one.
Yep. And lots of blue jeans.
Saddle pads. Well, I think Craig is going to feel the same way. I think the training should be done at home. And I think when you get to a horse show, you need to have your horse ready to show. I mean, you got to do a little bit here and there and tweaking here and there. But
a lot of that comes with a lot of that, like, because I know sometimes I was guilty of maybe getting one a little too tired at a horse show, but that happens not so much anymore because I'm more confident in my program now. My maturity level is way different than it was 5-10 years ago.
You become more confident.
Yeah, you've been through it. We've been training horses for. I've been training horses for 10 years.
You're old.
And we've seen a lot of stuff by now where some new guys come in there and they're going at it.
Yeah.
They get a little bit, that adrenaline catches up to them.
Like when I go to the horse show, I'll use one word and try to leave it there. I want to tweak everything, but I don't necessarily want to get in any major discussions. But, just try to get along. I've probably got him ready there, or I wouldn't have that horse there. I think my 3-year-old's you dang sure don't want to peak him too quick. But at the same time, I think you got to remember a 3-year-old, he learns a little bit every day. If you skip a week or two on him, it's definitely going to show up. And I don't miss no time on my 3-year-olds. I dang sure don't think you can. But at the same time, you don't want to peak him too quick. Because say if you got him ready to go show in August or September, and December's quite a ways away yet, that's probably not good. It's going to be hard to get him put back together. So I'm real cautious how I do get my horses peaked. I don't know exactly.
For me, I like to have my horses as broke as I can get them. I like to go to, the Denver show the end of July. And I want to be one-handed and everything fundamentally correct. And I don't want it to be a high-pressure situation, but I for sure want to be able to, I think, for a horse that's going to make the open finals, for me, is a horse that's going to go to Denver and go through all the parts, solid plus half, low stress. I think it's, when you peak a horse, some of the horses you get towards the futurity, and I'm going to maybe take a chance on maybe putting a little bit more pressure on one or stressing one a little bit because, the reward is worth it, So, but for sure, the first time I show them early in the year, let's say the end of July, they're not peaked. I mean, that's not all they can do. There's way more in there, but I just want everything to be cool, calm, collect. If one's circling great, I'm going to show that circle off just a little bit because I know it comes easy for him, and it's not going to stress him. If I have one that turns +1, I'm going to go ahead and let him turn +1 because I know it doesn't require a whole lot of effort on his part. It's when those horses are a little, if they struggle a little bit and you try to +1, then they're going to remember that. That's going that's going to come back to haunt you. Or if you got one that can't stop and you try to run it down there and try to +1 a stop, you're going to do way more damage than you will do good. So for me, I'm going to show everything to a +1/2. If they have a maneuver they can do, you know, a 1 with little or no stress, I'll do it. And just to get a good feeling on how my horse is going to prepare, how he's going to show. I want to have I like to show him early, because then I have from the end of July till the futurity, which is 4 months or whatever that is. I have 4 months to improve or redo something that I didn't like, or if I go to the horse show and they just show horribly, I have 4 months to find another horse to show. You know, I can start on my backup plan. I still have a little time to find something, get something broke. You know, if I have to buy something or whatever, you know, they're not going to catch me with my
Pants down.
Okay, now that I've counter-cantered and changed a few leads, I'm going to go ahead and work on my circles now. Lope off nice and smooth, quiet. If she's quiet, I'm going to go ahead and work on my steer, my speed. Start playing horse show a little bit. She's going right where I want her to go. I got my hand in the middle. If I move my hand, she's steering in, and I can pick up that chin a little bit. Keep on running. Get back over here on track. I might even throw in a lead change every once in a while at the fast, but not change directions. I think that's a pretty sweet change right there. I'm gonna go ahead and let her break down for that, pet her, and I'll start over again. I check that. I give her a little test. I check that lead change from time to time. I didn't do a whole lot with my hand. I did it 90% off of my leg. I can always steer her over there after I change that lead, but I don't want to have to steer her and risk losing that shoulder. I'll go to the right again. My lead departure, I want to walk forward, cluck, lift my inside leg, let her lope off nice and easy. Drop my hand, maybe go right into a small slow, just mix it up. Check my face. Check my steer with my face. Always trying to find some resistance somewhere. Go ahead and run a few circles on this mare, or a circle. Sometimes I run a half a circle, sometimes I run a whole circle. But I'm going to check my speed control right here on the top of my circle. Sit back, pick up my hand, slow her down the rest of the way, let her lope. Go ahead and move her back up. You know, she kind of is getting a little bit high. She's maybe lost her frame a little bit, but I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to see what happens. See if she can still function, because you're going to lose some of that when you go show. Oh yeah. It's all right. I pet her. She surprised me there. I didn't think she was paying attention, but she for sure was. So that I like that. Pick my hand up. I'm gonna check my lead change. Very good. I'm gonna let her break. Pet her, let her know that I'm happy with her. This is such a good-minded mare, and she's so fun to ride. You know, where she'll be at the futurity is still 4 or 5 months away, but I mean, for me, she's a joy to ride, and that's 90% of it. So I think Sean's gonna touch on some speed control a little bit. You know, I've done my steering, keep my hand forward. If I have to go back to 2 hands, I will. If I don't have to, I won't. I want this mare to be in 1 hand, you know, for 95% of everything I do this time of year. I think that for me, it's August. I'm happy with where she's at. She still has a ways to go, but she's good-minded and she shows little or no resistance. So I'm looking forward to my my fall on her. I know I'm just going to keep on counter-cantering. I know I have to circle every day, keep checking that, keep taking the resistance out of my horse's face, which she's pretty much got all that gone. Only thing I have left to do on this mare is to finish my stop and finish my turn, because everything else is going to fall, I think, right in line. So I'm going to let her air up a little bit before I do my turn and stop deal on her, and Sean's going to show you a few things on this colt.
I kind of like to pick up where Craig dropped off. The only thing I would like to kind of go over my lead change. Mine's just a little simpler than Craig's, just to kind of show you what I do. I'm going to teach this horse to counter-canter first. Once I get it counter-cantering, and what I mean by counter-cantering is I'm going to take and lope a circle to the left. This horse is going to be in the right lead. My left leg is going to be back against this horse's flanks on the left side. My right leg will be off. I'll make him counter-canter. I'll counter-canter around her a couple times. I'll change legs, take my left leg off, put my right leg on, let him change. I'll instantly break him to a walk or trot and reward him. I will not stop, or I will not do this before I've got his hip where I can move it over both ways off my leg. If you can't do that, I don't think he's ready to start changing leads on. And also, Craig showed us how to do that in a round pen. When he put that horse up against that round pen, up against that fence, move that horse's body back and forth. It's just a little different way of showing you. Also, too, when you first do this for the first couple times, the horse is going to change leads and you're not going to want to counter-canter. That's no big deal. Don't punish him for it and don't get upset with him, because ultimately we want him to change leads. What I do think the counter-cantering does to the horse's mind is makes this horse wait on me. And on a reining horse, if he's not waiting, he's not obeying. I'm going to make him lope off. And notice I'm going to take 2 hands when I do this. I'm going to let him lope around here. I got my left leg on his rib cage. He's galloping forward. His neck's right straight in front of him. Notice I don't have his head way off over here. I don't have his head way off over here to the left. I got it right straight in front of him. I'm going to go around one more time. I'm going to take my left leg off and apply my right leg, providing he change leads. I'll stop and I'll give him a break and he can rest. I might change leads on my horses 6, 8 times a day if I win with it. But once I get this on, I don't change leads a lot on mine. I might 2 or 3 times a week. Come through here, change legs, change his leads. I reward him. So before long, when he comes through there, I change leads and change legs. He's going to automatically, not necessarily stop, but he'll definitely check back in and ask if that was good and if he can quit. Say that I'd come around there and I asked this horse to change leads and he didn't change leads. He would have maybe pushed out against my leg or just wouldn't have changed. I'll show you what I'll do to that real quick. Not that it's hard, but just to show you. Eventually, as this 3-year-old gets a little older, it is August, about the middle. This colt's doing really, really well. I think Craig's really happy with him. But eventually I'll do this all one-handed. Probably on this colt, but we're not going to go ahead and try it. Ask him to change. Say he missed it right there, which he did. I'd take it, I'd get after him. But not super hard. Just move that hip over. Tell him that he messed up. But don't get crazy. Don't take your leg way out here and stab him real hard and scare him. I think in that lead change, that's the worst thing you can do is scare one. I'm going to ask him to do it one more time just to make sure that he's right. But say that he comes through there again and he drags that lead. I wouldn't get upset with him. I just continue to do it until he understands it and goes ahead and gets it. Come through the middle. My left leg's on his rib cage. Change my legs. Put my right leg on him. Move that hip over. He thought about missing it there too. So I go ahead and I'd emphasize. I'm going to do it one more time until he gets it perfect. Notice I keep his frame right here. Okay? Come through the middle. Keep him quiet. I'll go right past the middle just a little bit this time so you don't anticipate. Keep my leg on him, keep my leg on him, keep my leg on him. Change legs, change leads, reward. Very good. I just wanted to show you that, just a little bit simpler maybe than Craig's, but Craig's deal is very, very successful and very, very good also. All right, with that piece done, I'd like to show you what we do on the speed control of our 3-year-olds. Sometimes when you run your 3-year-old for the first time, he's going to be a little bit erratic. What I mean for that, when you speed him up, he's going to kind of raise his neck. He might look left, he might look right. He's just not going to be real comfortable. So the first time you do it, don't expect a whole lot. Maybe take and run him with 2 hands, let him relax, let him get comfortable. I'm going to go ahead, and when I do work on them colts, I'll take off the first time in that circle. I'll let him go one normal speed circle, and then the second circle and the third circle or whatever, I'll speed him up, and I'll do that by kissing to him and squeezing with my legs. I very seldom will ever speed him up right in the middle. I'll go past the middle, maybe to the first quarter pole of the circle, then I'll speed him up. I don't want him coming through the middle and getting racy or getting chargy. So I'll wait till I'm to the first quarter, I'll speed him up. I'll come through that center point. I like to come through on a straight line. I'll hum to him. I'll take my inside leg off and keep my outside leg on him. I'll slow down. I'll make one normal size circle. Then I'll let him lope 5 or 6 small slow circles. I always lope twice as many small slow circles as I do large fast circles. What I want to get back to him is I want him to be happier going slow than he is going fast. And that's his reward for doing it correctly. He gets to come to that middle there and find security. When I come through there and I keep my leg on him, what I do that for is I want to keep that hip shoved up underneath him right here. Sometimes when a horse goes fast to slow, he'll have a tendency, he'll shut down so quick that he'll fall out of lead. I think this helps me a little bit. Shove that hip over and block that horse from going that direction with his hip. He'll step it up underneath there, also keep him in lead right there. I like to come through and make a horse slow down on a straight line. I think a horse is really, really broke when he can go fast and slow down in a straight line. And the reason I say that, I think it's hard on a horse to do that. Well, if you come through there and you hum to him and you instantly drop him off into a small, slow circle, he dropped his shoulder over because he had to steer. He did what you asked him. But I sometimes wonder if we don't teach them to drop their shoulders when they do that. I want this horse to come through here, slow down, and then steer in. I'll demonstrate what I mean. I'm going to go ahead and do it two-handed. Notice I take off. It's a normal size circle, normal speed. So this is very, very pretty kind of going around. Come through this middle. I'm gonna go ahead and ask him to speed up once I go past the first quarter pole. We'll wrap both legs around his belly. Puts his old head down, goes forward. I'm gonna come to the middle. I'm gonna hum to him. Go straight through there. I'm gonna release my inside leg. He slows down. He even checked back again. That was really, really good. I'll make him go one normal size circle. Then I'll do 2 or 3 small slow. Notice my outside leg is still on this horse's body, still driving that hip up underneath him. And remember, it's always important to lope twice as many small, slow circles as it is large, fast. So we're gonna go 4 here. This here's my second one. One more. By this time you can tell he's ready to quit. He wants a break. I'll go ahead and get through here in the middle. We'll let him take a break. What I'd like to say now and talk about now, say that I come through there and I hum, and this horse, he just hears elevator music and keeps right on going. What would I do for that? I'm gonna take and I'm gonna pull him in the ground. Not hard, but I'm gonna take a hold of him, pull him in the ground, spin him to the inside maybe once or twice and go back and do it again. What I don't wanna do, even if he don't slow back, even though he disobeyed me or he maybe made a mistake, I don't wanna take a hold of him and snatch his face and really get after him. Because on some horses, when you really get after him like that, you might scare him. If you do scare him, his adrenaline's gonna get going. He might come through there the next time and speed up a little bit more. So you want to gradually, you can always increase your intensity of your punishment. It's better to start out with a little bit of punishment and add a little bit of punishment until you find that happy medium where he understands. You never want to start out real severe. I'm gonna go ahead and lope one normal circle and then I'll speed him up and I'll show you what I do to him if I want him to continue to come back a little bit more. Here again, I go past the middle, quarter pole, kiss to him. Both legs I squeeze. Make him hump on up there a little bit. He's moving really good right there. Release my inside leg. Come back really good. I'm gonna go ahead and act like it was wrong. I'll pull him in the ground a little bit. I'd go right back. I'd ask him to do it again. Both legs wrapped around him. Kissing to him, keeping his face right. Through the middle. Come to him. That was perfect. I'm gonna go ahead and stop and just reward him a little bit. But that's what I would do if he didn't listen to me. As far as my speed control, that's basically all I do on that. Say that you're kind of getting close to the reining futurity, you've done all your P's and Q's on that, and say that you really want to check it. Say that you want to see, you want to know for sure that that's going to be there that first time you show him. One way maybe to check that is, say that you left this horse off on Sunday. He didn't have any work to do. You get him out Monday morning, you bring him out, you lope him around, you stretch him, you know he's healthy, he's sound, everything's okay, but he's not warmed up per se. He's not really ready to go to work. You walk right out here to the middle of this circle. Don't lope one normal size circle. You take right off, you chase him around there and you lope one big circle. You come to that middle and you hum to him, or whatever cue you use that cue constantly, 110% of the time. You use that cue, whether it's humming or saying easy or releasing your legs, whatever it may be, and see if he comes back. If he comes back without any preparation, any training whatsoever, walks right out and he's good cold, he's probably ready to go to the horse show. So that's one little way that I check that, and you know, if it's not quite weighted, you know, I hate to use the word, but tweak that thing a little bit. You know, come through there and mess with that and play with that a little bit.
For us, we use the professional choice boots, skid boots, splint boots, bell boots, hock boots. They make a really cool ice boot. We have a whirlpool boot. I will wrap. If I don't have boots on them, sometimes I'll wrap them. But I'm all for the legs and keeping everything nice and tight. If I come out there and they have a little bit of a stressful day, those horses are going to go to the barn and get iced, just to cool things down, and I sure feel better after I do that. I'm a big believer in the ice boots. I mean, I have an ice machine in my barn, and I think that that's something that everybody should have access to in this business, is ice. I mean, Sean refers to those professional football players and all that stuff. I mean, those guys take ice.
Well, and if you don't have ice,
you
can use cold water too.
Yeah.
But I do have ice boots. I don't have the wool.
California, our water isn't that cold. It won't do any good. But
cold water.
In the northern, eastern states, I mean, do something for them. Get those legs cooled down. And if you have a regular maintenance program like that, I don't think that you're going to have a whole lot of leg issues as long as they stay full of air. You got to know when to quit. When they're done, they're done. I mean, you need to quit because they'll keep going until
they die.
Until they,
That's the mentality we want. We want a horse that won't quit.
So we breed them for that. So we have to be smart enough to know when to quit.
Yeah. I think the other thing too, if you have this horse in shape, and it goes right back to what I was talking about too with the work ethic. You work them things, and he's in good physical condition. He's not going to get hurt real bad. Now, if you bring him out here and that horse is...
you skip a week and try to catch up.
Yeah, in one day.
Try to make up for a week and a day.
I think that's when bad things happen. Or you work him real hard for one day, but you don't work him hard for the next 5 or 6 days or 2 weeks. Then I think that's when you pull stuff, tear stuff, negative things happen.
Yeah, for sure. I'm not afraid to wrap ice.
No, you do anything you can do to prevent. If you rode him hard that day and you are concerned about him, maybe wrap his legs up or stand him in some mud, like a poultice on his legs at night. Common sense goes a long ways in things like that.
I don't really want to inject a hock until July or August of their 3-year-old year, but I am not afraid to. I think that fluid gets worn out, and you change your oil in your car. I think that if they're having a little problem, I think that you can definitely throw some stuff in there.
I'm going to use whatever I can get to my advantage as far as from the medical field of it.
And for their advantage too. I'm all about making
life easier.
I'm all for making that horse's life as comfortable as it can be. And
it's just like on a human being. If you had some tendonitis or a shoulder or something that was sore, you would probably go get it injected so you can continue to do your job. Anytime I can help one of them horses in that way, I'm going to help him. Most definitely. And I think if you don't do that, nobody wants to do something when it hurts. So, you want to take care of them the best you possibly can.
A horse, I think, will lope on a lead. He's pushing off of one side. And if you watch a horse, like at the track, they change leads to rest. If he's on the left lead, he's going to change the leads to the right to rest the other side. So, you know, you don't get an accurate, when they're jogging, they're using both sides of the body equally. And at the walk, I think at a walk and a jog, you can see most lamenesses at a lope, and even at a lope. I mean, I've definitely loped some off and thought, holy cow, there's for sure a problem here. But to the eye, when I think that there's going to be a problem, I have my help trot small circles each way, out straight line, and I mean, you can for sure notice. But if I have a 3-year-old that's been stopping strong all year long, and he goes out there and has a bad day, I'm going to think, well, I'm going to go ahead and maybe stop him again tomorrow. But if he's bad again tomorrow, or if he's doing something, I'm going to call the vet, because this is not the typical workout for this horse. I mean, he'll try every time. If he quits trying, I mean, if he's not visibly sore or lame, he has 2 bad days, I'm calling the vet. I want to know. I don't want to, I mean, it's a good animal. I don't want to hurt one and drive it over. No. Drive it right over the edge.
I watch mine pretty close. I know my vet comes to the farm at least once a week. We check in 3-year-olds, and we keep a pretty close eye on them. I mean, from a riding standpoint, we got it. You know, it's like what Craig said. He's got a really good idea of what that horse should feel like. And a lot of times we can tell right quick if something ain't just normal. You know, and any non-pro will be able to. I mean, you can get on that horse and you'll say, man, there's something missing today. And when you do feel that, you know, listen to yourself and maybe get a vet out there and have him looked at. All right, I want to talk to you a little bit about stopping this horse. Remember, we've got 3 different ways of stopping. We can stop him on the word whoa. We can stop him off our hands. We can stop him by releasing our legs. I want to go ahead, and I told you before on them 2-year-olds, we got him where we can fence him. He's going straight. He's not leaning left or right. So we want to go ahead and start speeding him up and fencing him. And what I'll do is I'll go back and forth with 2 hands, and I'm not going to help him a lot. Say that this horse goes down there and he gets to leaning left. I'll let him make that mistake. I'll pick up, I'll spin him 360 degrees, and I'll go right back to where I come from, or go to. The reason for letting him make the mistake, make it great enough that he realizes he made a mistake, and then correct him. If you don't let him make that mistake great enough to make him understand that it was wrong, you'll be correcting him all day long. This horse has a tendency, every time he runs down through there, he'll lean to the left. As you'll notice, I'll let him lean to the left, and I'll try to talk you through it, but sometimes the wind kind of gets in the road. But when he leans to the left, I'll pull him back to the right. Say that he would lean to the right, I'd pull him to the left. I'll always take him the direction opposite of the way he pulls. I'm going to demonstrate that a few times, and then I'll kind of go ahead and I'll ask him to stop maybe just off my hands. I won't say whoa to him. This horse also, too, is one of the reasons I kind of picked him to do this video on. It's actually one of Craig's horses, but I wanted to show you some of the things he does wrong, meaning he'll lean left or he'll lean right. He also, when he stops, sometimes he's just a little posty in the front end, meaning he don't maybe move his front end as well as he should. I'll show you a couple different deals that I'll do for that and see if we can't improve him in that manner. With that being said, I'll try to get started. I'm going to ask him to lope off. I'm always going to take the right lead from this end. I'm going to let him build a little speed. Notice he's leaning left a little bit. Let him lean over here. Take a hold of him. I spun him 2 times that direction. I'll go right to the fence. Notice I'll spin him down here at the end, or maybe I might walk a circle on him. And then I'll go do it again. I'm gonna come right back straight towards you. He's pretty straight this way. Let him go right up to the fence. This direction here coming back, he's really, 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 really good. One thing that I don't do to mine, that I know a lot of other guys do, they'll let one sit at the end for a long time. I won't let one sit at the end of this arena for a very long period of time. One reason for that, you take how lazy this colt here is. If I just let him sit down here and rest, before long he's going to get kind of chargy and he's going to want to run to that other end. And my thought is, I ain't too sure that sometimes we don't create our own problem. Say that I take off from here, an example, and I run him down there and he stops really, really good and he fences really, really good. Why sit down there and I reward him for doing that? Well, in reality, in my thought, what I've taught him is the faster he gets from this point to that point, is the longer he gets to rest. He's not going to associate that I run down and I stopped really, really hard, that's what I wanted. He's going to end up getting in a hurry and running down there. So what I'll do is say that he stops really, really, really good. I'll just take and I'll walk a circle here. That's his rest. He can kind of catch his air, he can mellow out, and maybe he won't get so hot because he is bred to run and stop. And he is lazy, so he knows that that's coming there. With that said, I'm gonna go ahead and lope to the other end. Odds are he's gonna probably pull back to the left. If he does, I'll pull him back to the right, just like I did the first time. It's been really, really good right through here. Staying straight, staying straight. Excellent. That was perfect. He didn't lean left like he has been doing. Notice I'm just going to walk a circle here. I'm not going to panic. I'm not going to hurt him. This is his reward. Say that I had a horse that didn't want to run end to end, or didn't have a lot of desire to run down here. Then I might sit down here and encourage him to rest down here, and maybe he would get just a little bit better with that. But even though this horse is lazy, he has no problem running end to end. So I'm not going to let him sit there too long. I'm going to go ahead and go right on back to work. Come right back straight towards you. He's staying straight. His shoulders are straight. My hands are right straight in front of me. So let him keep going. Ride him all the way to the fence. He stopped. He's not upset. Walk a circle. I'm going to make sure his chin's soft again here. Make him give. Okay, we got him fencing pretty good. He's going down through there. This next time, I'm gonna make him come down through here. I'm gonna pick up on him about 3/4 of the way down through here and just ask him to stop just off my hands. I'm not gonna say whoa or anything. What I'm gonna do there, say that he's not real good in the front end. Say that he would come down through there and he'd stop and he'd post his front legs. I'm gonna come down, pick him up, ask him to stop just with my hands. Say that he gets stiff in the front end, let him come to a complete stop, and then I'm gonna walk him up through it and make him give his face. I'll show you exactly what I mean. You cannot walk them out of the stop if you say whoa. If you do that, they will run through the stop. But if you do have one stiff in their front end, this will make a difference. Here again, I'm going straight back down the arena. Horse is steering, he's comfortable, shoulders are straight. He was really, really good right there. Notice here again, I walk a circle. I'm resting him, but I'm not resting him. He knows he was good because he's not getting punished or spanked or anything like that. Okay, now I'm gonna come back towards you this time. I'm gonna pick up. I'm gonna ask him to stop. I'm gonna build a little speed. He was pretty good there. He completely stopped. I'll walk him up and I'll soften that chin. Make him give his face. I put my legs back around his belly. He gives his face and walks forward. Notice too, I'm very conscious of the lead I've taken. I've taken the exact same lead patterns both ways. I'll work on one lead at a time. Going this way, I always work on the right lead. Coming back, I work on the left lead. Reason for that, a horse will always stop better on one lead or another. What I would relate that to is, if I had to throw a football, I would naturally throw it right-handed. I'm pretty good at throwing it right-handed. But say that I had a coach and he had to teach me to throw it left-handed, he would really struggle. And I would relate that to this horse. I'm gonna do that one more time, then I'm gonna come down here and ask him to stop. Very, very good. He come down through there, he was straight, he was soft. This time here, I'm gonna make him go just a little bit quicker. I'm just gonna pick up on him with my hand. Notice he's straight, he's running. There he kind of hit and come out. I'm not gonna get real upset with him. Just kind of pound on his body, make him give his face, make him be supple. Also too, I don't know if you can tell, but when he's running down through there, I will occasionally take and put my outside leg on him, meaning going this way, I'll take and put my left leg on him, my right leg off. That'll shove that hip up underneath him a little bit more, make him drive up underneath himself, maybe stop a little bit harder. Vice versa, when I come from that end, I'm in the left lead, I'll take and put my right leg on him, shove that hip up underneath him a little bit more. Next time down here, I'm gonna say whoa and see if he'll stop. Left leg's on his belly, driving him to the fence. Kiss to him a little bit. Very good. Stop really good there. Very comfortable, very soft. Walk a circle, gets to rest, was reward a little bit. This time I'm going to go ahead and ask him to stop. Cool. Very, very good. He was good stopping. I'm away from the fence. I'll sit here and I'll let him rest. Okay, that's basically the way I'd want him to stop. He was good with his hocks. He didn't pick his legs up. He's good in his front end. He didn't flip his head up or get upset there. I'd let this horse stand a little bit. I'd probably stop him in the other lead to make sure that he stops equally in both leads. And then once I've stopped him on both legs, I'll probably go back and I'll make him go back and forth real quiet. Make sure there is no runoff or this horse didn't get upset or wants to go forward with me. Say that this horse does want to get in a hurry. I'll tell you what I'll do for that here in a minute. Say this horse would have come down and I said whoa and he wouldn't have stopped. What I probably would have done in that case, say that I would have said whoa while he was running. I said whoa. I took a hold and I would have pulled on him and made him back up, maybe went to his shoulders a little bit. But I probably wouldn't have bumped on him real hard. My thought is, if you come down through there, you say whoa, and say he misses that stop. And the first thing you do is you go, whoa, and you jerk on his face. The first thing he's gonna do is raise his neck up. Okay, so my thought is if you just come down, maybe get after his shoulders a little bit, because I don't like to see a horse pick his neck up real high when you stop him. If you come down here and go, whoa, say that he don't stop, you take a hold and pull on him and kind of get after him. Before long, he's gonna be just soft and he's gonna drop that neck. Opposed to, if he comes down and he misses this stop 3 times in a row, and 3 times in a row you jerk on his face, before long he's going to associate the word whoa with getting jerked on. That's exactly what we don't want, because he's going to be scared and he's going to be upset and he's going to slam into the ground. He's not going to get into the ground soft and sweet. So I'm real cautious how much I jerk on a horse when I stop him. Say that I come down through here and I know he's going to miss it and I don't say the word whoa. And I just take a hold of him and say he just flips his head up and keeps going. Then I might take and I might get after him a little bit, jerk on his face and say, hey mister, don't do that. But if I say whoa, I probably won't. I'll probably take a hold and pull on him, maybe go to his belly, maybe go to his shoulders or something like that in that manner, if he misses it. Oh, it'd be nice if they was all like that and they was that good. Say this horse gets a little bit chargy, going end to end. One thing I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna pretend this horse gets a little bit chargy. I'm gonna let him lope out there, act like he's gonna get a little quick. I'm gonna kind of shove him out there and so I can show it to you. I'm gonna let him go out there and make that mistake like he's gonna get in a hurry. I'm gonna pull him in the ground. I'm gonna come back to where I came from. Like right through here, act like he's going a little fast. Pick up, take a hold of him, pull him in the ground, come back to where I come from. Don't make it a big deal. Just let him lope back, let him be soft. He gets to the fence there. I'm just gonna wall him around. I'll lope him back off. See if he lopes off out here quiet. There, see, he even asked if he could stop. Loping real soft, real sweet. I'm gonna stop and let him set. He was really, really good right there. The other thing I'd like to kind of go over that I gotten a little bit ahead of myself. One reason I think fencing was invented was to keep a horse from scotching. What I mean by scotching is a lot of them horses, they'll kind of set up before the end marker of your reining patterns. So we come up with this idea to fence these horses to make them continue to run, to make them go up there to the fence. That's the reason that kind of come about. We've also learned from fencing these horses, or at least I have learned, I'd like to share with you, is you can kind of keep one balanced. You can keep his shoulders straight, keep his neck right, and he stays really, really soft in the bit. I'm gonna come back towards you one more time and stop this horse in the other lead, just because it's bugging me. I can't hardly stand it because I worked on it yesterday. I want to see if I improved it. Here again, this horse is really good. Going to this end, he's staying straight. I'm not having to mess with him too much. Dropping his neck a little bit when he stops, which is really pretty. This time I'm going to take the right lead coming back towards you. I haven't done that coming back towards the camera. I've been always taking the left lead. But hopefully this little horse will be good. But remember what I said, they're not going to stop the same on both leads. You know, after they get broke, it might look like they do, but at the very beginning stages, they will not. Oh. He come out of the ground there just a little bit. I'm taking him on, back him up. Basically just come out with his right leg. I'm gonna do it one more time. Notice I'm not gonna get after him too much. He's just a little concerned. Just make him relax. I'll go do it again. But the stop actually was pretty good. I could have lived with it. He was really good right there. Dropped his old butt in the ground. His hocks was good. Here again, he gets to re-rest, the reward a little bit. Right lead. Staying right straight. He's not leaning left or right. Oh. He was really good there. Come out just a little bit with that left leg. Could probably get after him, but he tried hard. I'm not going to bother him. If a horse tries for me, I'm going to overlook some things. Say that he would have come down and he went in, or we'd have come out or done something like that, I'd have probably got after him. But I'm going to try to live with that today, because it did feel like he tried really hard and he wanted to be good. But I might stop my horses. The days that I pick to stop them, I might stop them 20, 25 times. But I might not run them hard every time. I might run and show stop them per se. And what I mean by show stop them like I would in a show pen, where it really, really, really means something. I might only do that once or twice. I won't make them max out per se more than once or twice a day. The days that I pick to stop him. I might stop him slow every day. As far as like I might lope him around in circles or something like that. Okay, one thing that I didn't get to cover that I'd like to cover. Say that this horse comes down through there and he's kind of taking his hocks in and out of the ground. Meaning he comes down, he'll hit and he'll come up. And he just didn't really using his hocks like maybe he should. There's a couple things I'd check for and ask myself, why is he doing that? First and foremost, I'd check and make sure that I had his chin here. Make sure that he was soft and make sure he's giving his face. Say that I had that and it was okay. If I didn't have that, I'd probably go back and I'd bid him up. I'd pull on him, I'd make him give his face like that. But say I did have that there and he was just kind of chomping me, it wasn't really being good. What I'd do is I'd raise my hands up here and I'd stop him a couple times. Now I'll demonstrate what I mean by that. I'd lope him around here. I'm gonna come up here towards you so you can see it, or get on the side. I'd stop him. Oh. and I'd lift his front end right up. Notice I didn't jerk on him. I just took a hold of him, made him back up, and I'd lope him over here and do it again. Cool. Before long, I'll have him so deep, even like right there, rolling back. Cool. But I ought to be able to make his back legs go fast his front ones by doing this. Notice I'm not snatching him, not taking hold and scaring him. Cool. I don't know if you could hear that on tape or not, but this horse actually was getting deep enough that he would rip the ground, make the ground squeak. I'm going to show you from the ass end of it. Cool. You can almost feel this horse skating backwards. Notice it's really putting his hocks in the ground. Cool. That was perfect. That's another way of getting this horse a little bit deeper. As you can see, and I don't know if the cameraman can get it or not, his front legs there, his back hind legs were up underneath my feet. That's where they were supposed to be. But I wanted to give you that little demonstration there. It's not a big thing. I think the most important thing you have to be cautious of there is you don't take and snatch him like that or be real rude with him. Just take and pick up. I think the most important thing on these horses is don't scare them. So you just take and pull. Let him find his comfort zone with that. So when I go down through there and I say, well, if I got to pick my hand up a little bit, he'll just elevate them shoulders and he'll relax into that bit. I sometimes too think if you're having a lot of trouble and you're stopping, he's soft in his face, maybe go to a smaller bit. Sometimes you go to a smaller bit, they won't be abrasive and they won't be so scared. A lot of times when a horse runs down through there and he's stiff in his front end or he bounces out of that stop, there's either resistance problem or he's scared problem. So I think with that being said, I can't think of much else that I really want to add to this point. A lot of times though, at the end of the day, I will go ahead and do this and letting this be the last thought in his mind, meaning I want him to bust his butt into there as hard as he possibly can. But at the same time, letting him be comfortable and not upsetting him or getting him hurt. Also too, I think it's very, 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 very important to make sure you wear bell boots when you do this. As you can see, this horse's hind legs was up underneath him where he would catch his shoes or his heels. And I think if he stops enough times and he hits those heels and hurts his feet, he's going to quit some. And you dang sure don't want him to bruise his bulbs up or anything like that. You know, it's just like you. If you do something 2 or 3 times and you get hurt doing it, you're going to get a little bit timid, and I think he's the same way. So I want him to be very, very comfortable with that. I think it's very, very important to expose them to other scenery and get them out. I'll do it as early as I possibly can. We got a horse show in Florida in February of the 3-year-old year, and if I got one that's really doing good and he's pretty far advanced and I can kind of steer him around and stuff like that, and he'll stop, and I mean I'll take him to a horse show pretty early. Particularly if it's a horse that's really gawky or he's he's really looky or he's really spooky, I'll haul that horse a lot. I mean, as much as I can possibly, get him in the trailer. It's hard, we got all them aged horses and derby horses too, so you sometimes don't always have room, but I think it's very, very important.
I agree with Sean. There's a few things I do around the ranch that kind of season one. For one, when I leave, I try to have banners up in my arena all year round, just so those colts, because the first time I did it, those horses looked at those banners for 2 or 3 months every day. They were just, they were really terrified by those banners being in that arena. So I keep those banners up in my arena. I have different places to ride at, 2 different places to ride at home. I could go to the small pen, the big pen. I can go, I have several friends in the area. I'll haul my horse to Bobby's or Mike's or whoever's in the area. Just get those horses out away from the ranch, and and unless it's just a deadhead and that it'll be okay. I mean, I don't like to, but I've shown horses that have never been off the ranch. I did it in Denver this year, and I didn't have a minute's trouble, a minute's problem. I mean, they just, some horses you just kind of know you better get them out, and some horses will fool you, but there's some of those horses that, you know, I'm willing to gamble on if I don't have time, or if I got a full trailer going to every horse show throughout the year, I don't have time or the place to.
Well, if you're around that horse and you've been around him a lot, you're going to have a decent idea of what he's like. You know, if he stands in the stall and he jumps to the shadow, you got a pretty good idea when you take him off the farm. He's going to be.
You better put some miles on him.
Yeah, he better be a little warm when you unload him.
Yeah, it's not fair to the other people if you have one that's a little borderline.
Well,
You don't want to take one out there and get somebody hurt.
Well, and I think a non-pro too, they ride at home, so that horse is going to be scared of other horses and things. And then when a horse has not been around other horses, they'll kind of ricochet and bounce off of other horses and be scared. I don't know that I don't advise anybody to ride a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old who has not been around any horses around people that are trying to get ready to go show. I think that's very rude. You know, unless that thing's just dog quiet and it's not going to get in anybody's road. But you just try to be careful and not get in anybody's road when they're getting ready for a major horse show too. Yeah, I think the best advice that I could give them is anticipate the worst happening. You know, like if you take him to a horse show and he ties really good at home and you tie him to the side of your trailer, anticipating and pulling back.
Hobble.
Yeah.
I'll hobble mine. If I'm afraid they're going to get away, I'll tie him to the trailer and hobble them too.
So he won't go nowhere. He'll be there when you get back. But,
just in case.
you know, anytime you take them things to a horse show, you know, I always teach mine. I try to, not always, but I try to teach mine to back off the trailer as far as when they get to the horse show, you usually unload on asphalt. And, you know, you don't really want him jumping out of there, roller skating across the asphalt. So, you know, sometimes it's better to back them off there. A lot of times my colts, they won't, so you got to jump them off there. But that's an interesting experience. You know, there's just so many things. I don't know that you can simulate them or even get ready for all of them, but there's a lot of little things that you don't think about that are going to be there, and that's
one of the things that I think a non-pro should do, or even that I do, I practice this, is if I am taking those 3-year-olds or any of those horses away for the first time, I'm going to take my lunge rope out, or if there's round pens at the facility, get them tired. Don't just hop on them and go. Wipe the smile off their face. They'll be a whole lot better horse once they have the fresh off, and don't be afraid. I mean, you catch a lot of flack for lunging horses, but I'd rather catch a little flack than get bucked off in front of everybody. So
it'd be fun to watch.
Yeah. But that's, I mean, lunge that horse, get him tired, and then ride him, especially before the first ride.
We hope you've enjoyed the third video in the Good as Gold Reining series. Information on other videos can be found at www.goodasgoldreining.com, or you can call Schneider Equine Video at 541-543-8368. We hope the presentation has answered many questions, inspired you, and has put you on the road to becoming good as gold.
Thank you, number 464, with these little